Okay, and welcome back. In this module, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the key moments of a Hindu wedding ceremony. The reason why this is important is so that way you can position yourself at the right place at the right time, depending on when you anticipate the next moment coming up. You, as a photographer, your responsibility is to deliver these images when you fully deliver your product to the end client, and they're going to be expecting that these moments are documented. So ensuring that you can position yourself the right place, you understand the cultural importance and sensitivity around some of these key moments will help you better prepare for these moments so that way you can then ensure you're capturing them fully. Okay, so let's dive right in. Over the next 20 minutes or so, what we're going to do is we're going to go through each one of these steps. You'll understand the cultural significance, you'll understand why these moments are taking place, and then based on that, you can position yourself accordingly. Okay, so let's dive right in. So from the prior module, we went through the wedding timeline itself. So we'll start back at the Baraat again. Now, the Baraat ultimately is when the groom comes to the bride's home, and normally he's going to be accompanied by family and friends. He's going to come on a horse or some sort of vehicle. Think of it this way. Generally, in olden days, the groom would come to the bride's house and ultimately get married in the bride's house. The bride's house, in today's terms, is called the mandap. So the significance is the bride's coming to the bride's house, getting married in the mandap, and he's going to then take her away. So all these different things are going to ultimately provide you that perspective as to why these are taking place in the way they're taking place. So the Bharat that you may recall from the prior module is really the groom's wedding procession. He's going to show up on a horse. He's going to be accompanied by family and friends. There's going to be music. There's going to be dancing. There's going to be a lot of fun and joy. He's anticipating that he's going to then take the bride away, and it's in a fun way. It's really meant to also express the joy of the occasion as well. So that's really the first part you'll want to keep in mind and why these things are taking place. Okay, so as we go further down, we're going to go into the Milni. The Milni, you may recall from the prior module, also is that this is when the bride and the groom families are meeting each other for the first time. It really is a cultural significance to ensure that it symbolizes the merger of both families. It's a joyful start to the wedding ceremony. It's really when the bride's mom, the bride's father are meeting the groom's mother and the groom's father. The siblings are meeting each other for the first time, and they're normally exchanging garlands from one another, and they're ultimately formally meeting for the first time. Now, chances are they're going to have met before the ceremony takes place, but in olden days, this is generally how it used to take place. This is more of a formal way, and so you as a photographer, your job is to ensure that you're capturing these types of moments. What tends to typically happen as well is that you'll see that the fathers or the uncles are going to try to lift each other as well. So it's always a fun way to ensure you're capturing that. But generally, the Milni is what this is called, is normally about 10 minutes or so. And you'll notice that they're all going to exchange garlands or sweets with one another. It's always a fun time. It happens right after the Bharat concludes as well, but before the ceremony actually starts. Okay. Now, normally the family is going to be starting to make their way in. They're going to come in towards the mandap. They're going to sit down and be ready to go to watch the ceremony itself. Normally, you'll start off with the Ganesh Puja. Now, the Ganesh Puja is a ceremony that's going to invoke Lord Ganesha. And what this means is Lord Ganesha is generally a remover of obstacles. It's a formal ask from Ganesha to bless the couple. Normally, the bride's parents are going to be the ones sitting at the mandap with the groom. Now, the groom's going to be making his way into the mandap, and the bride's parents are going to be sitting there doing this puja, is what it's called. The puja itself, the Ganesh Puja itself, is really just asking for blessings and in a way to remove the obstacles, so that way the couple has a great start to their married life. This can take about 10 minutes or so. You'll notice that the parents are going to be sitting towards the end of the mandap, and the groom's going to be sitting right next to them as well. Okay. Going further down, you'll see that there's something called Kanya Aagaman. This is when the bride formally starts to make her entrance. She's normally going to be assisted by uncles, some male relatives, her brothers, and any member that's normally walking her up the aisle is an important member of her family. When she makes her way to the mandap for the first time, chances are it's going to be very emotional. It's going to be ultimately the parents giving her away to the groom. So you'll want to make sure you're documenting this moment of her coming in formally up the aisle. As we start to transition from the bride making her way to the to the mandap, the bride's going to be sitting down at the mandap, and there's something called a reveal. The reveal is very similar to a first look in olden days. Generally, the bride and groom never saw each other. Now, if you tuned into the timeline module, you'll notice that sometimes we may have done a first look with the couple, so they did see each other for the first time. But just know that in traditional senses, the reveal is what the bride and groom used to do, or what couples used to do in the past, to see each other for the first time. So the groom is going to be sitting up there. You'll notice that the brother or brothers are going to be holding up a cloth in front of his face. That's so that he doesn't see the bride coming up. So he'll be hidden behind that veil, and the bride's going to be sitting on the opposite side of him. Once the cloth goes down, you want to position yourself to capture the reaction. Now, if the groom really didn't see her, chances are it's going to be a much wilder and fun reaction, but I'm sure he probably knows what she looks like by this point. So, make sure you're capturing the reactions. They're probably going to be smiling. You're going to capture some reactions from the family that are going to be nearby as well. So dropping the cloth is a really critical part of the Hindu ceremony. Okay, as we go further down, the Varmala. Varmala ultimately means the exchange of garlands. So the ritual is where the bride and groom are going to be standing. They're going to be exchanging garlands on one another. You might notice that they're going to be very playful. They're probably going to try to avoid the garland wherever they can. So be on the lookout for these types of images. What you'll notice is that they're going to be standing facing each other, and they'll have garlands that they'll exchange on each other. So make sure you're capturing these shots. I would generally recommend doing a vertical, so turn your camera so that way you get the full outfit of the bride and groom. And as the bride puts the garland on the groom and the groom puts the garland on the bride, you want to capture both. I would take this moment also to direct the couple towards you to capture a photo of them together, looking towards the camera. Again, this is a key moment in the Hindu wedding ceremony. So if you can nudge them to look towards you, capture that moment along with the more candid moments that are taking place. Okay, the next one is called the Kanyadaan. Kanyadaan is a really key part of the wedding ceremony as well. It technically means giving away the bride. It's a really emotional moment. Generally, what happens is the bride and groom are going to hold hands. They're going to be provided with rice. Ultimately, what's going to take place is that it really represents the parents' blessing of the couple and the bride's transitioning to a new family. So generally, they'll be sitting. They'll have their hands tied together. They'll want to make sure you're capturing the hands tied together using a close-up lens or some sort of macro lens if you have it. But the bride and groom sitting there with the parents giving them the offering is a really key moment. Okay, so that's the Kanyadaan. The Kanyadaan is another key moment of the wedding day and the Hindu ceremony. Okay, Vivaah Homa, if I'm saying that correctly. So Vivaah Homa ultimately is a sacred fire ceremony where the bride and groom are making offerings to the fire. It's really an importance in the elements in life. So the fire itself represents the importance of elements. It's a commitment to the couple in the presence of a witness, which is going to be Lord Ganesha that we did the puja for earlier. Generally, the bride and groom are going to be making offerings to the fire. Okay, so that's a really key part. You'll want to ensure that you're capturing close-ups of the offering to the fire. So the bride and groom are both going to be making these offerings probably on a repetitive basis. So this is a really key part of the wedding ceremony itself. Okay, Vivaah Homa. As we go further down the list, Laja, if I'm saying that correctly, translates to offering of puff rice to the fire. Generally speaking, the bride's going to have her brother or a close relative assisting her with making this offering. It's really a way to emphasize the role of family support in the couple's journey as a married couple and the bride's contributions to her future home. So generally, she's going to be assisted by her brother or a close mama or uncle, and they're going to make the offering to the fire. Okay, Laja Homa, another key part of the wedding ceremony. Okay, as we go further down the list, Mangal Phera. This is when the bride and groom are going to walk around the fire. As they've already made their offerings to the fire, they're going to be doing this at least between 4 to 7 times, depending on the priest and how many times he has them do it. The Mangal Phera generally is going to lead off with the groom leading the bride, so holding her hand, walking around the fire. You'll notice that the family members are going to be offering them flowers, will be celebrating them. There's going to be a lot of smiles and a lot of joy happening. This is a really emotional part of the Hindu ceremony. And generally what tends to happen during the Mangal Phera is that the bride and groom will switch spots and the bride will start to lead. Now, what you'll want to keep in mind is normally towards the last round, the bride is going to try to sit down first ahead of the groom. And it's a really fun way to say that the person who sits down first generally rules the home. So you always notice that there'll probably be a little bit a tug between the bride trying to sit down first ahead of the groom. So it's always a fun way. So definitely look out for that. You'll want to make sure you're anticipating that moment as well. Okay, so after the Mangal Phera is done, you'll notice that we'll go into what's called a Saptapadi. And the Saptapadi generally just means 7 steps. And the 7 steps are going to be symbolized by 7 stones, each one symbolizing a different vow that they're making as part of their marriage. The ritual is going to seal the marriage. It's going to symbolize the couple's commitment and their shared path ahead. That's going to allow them to vow to one another, and then the priest will normally provide each description of what these vows will be. Generally, what takes place is you'll have the couple utilize their toe. They're going to connect their toe together. So if you have a macro lens or a zoomed in lens, I would generally recommend that you have some sort of zoomed in shot around the couple and their feet, and that's going to be placed on the surface of the ceremony. Okay, so Saptapadi, or the 7 steps, another key moment of the Hindu ceremony. Another one is Mangalsutra. This is generally a necklace that the bride's going to wear. This symbolizes her being a married woman. Generally, the groom is going to put this necklace around the bride. And so this is another key moment you want to make sure that you fully document. It's a sacred necklace, and generally it's going to be black. It's going to have some diamonds around it. It's going to be hard for you to get a close-up shot of this as it's taking place. So generally you want to make sure that you at least get the action of the groom putting it on. You can later capture more close-up shots if you have time earlier during the bridal prep session or potentially after the ceremony. But I would generally recommend capturing the Mangalsutra, which is a key moment of the Hindu ceremony. Another related key moment of this Hindu ceremony that's not documented in this PDF right now is called the Sindoor. So you'll notice here that the bride has a red dot on her forehead. That is something that's also really important to get. So generally right after the Mangalsutra is over, you'll notice that the groom is going to put on Sindoor on the bride's forehead. And Sindoor typically symbolizes the bride's new status as a wedded bride. Okay, another key moment. So you'll generally want to make sure that you're capturing that moment as well. The next part is the ring exchange. So this is pretty traditional in any Hindu wedding ceremony, or any ceremony for that matter. This is where the bride and groom are going to exchange wedding bands. This is pretty easy to do. For the most part, they'll most likely be sitting down. The groom may choose to stand up and provide the ring to his bride as well. But capturing them, putting the rings on one another, is also another key moment of the Hindu ceremony. Okay, let's move down to Kansar Bhakshan. Okay, this generally means that they're going to be making offerings of sweets to one another. When the bride and groom do that, they generally have been fasting for the morning, so this is really their first time they're gonna be eating. But some that do, they'll be exchanging sweets for one another, and they'll probably do this a couple of times. Okay, Kansar Bhakshan, so symbolizes a couple feeding each other, symbolizing the sweetness that they hope to fill their life with, and a gesture of care for one another. Let's go down to Ashirwad. Ashirwad ultimately is receiving blessings from the parents. So you'll notice that the bride and groom will normally touch the feet of their parents, of the pandit, or of both sets of parents, and they'll probably take turns doing this. So it's really asking for blessings from the parents. Ashirwad, another key moment of the Hindu ceremony. Traditionally as well, you may look to see that the bride and groom will look for this type of blessing from their grandparents. So if the grandparents are not nearby, they may be sitting in the crowd. You want to either offer that they do Ashirwad to their grandparents, or they may likely ask you to capture that moment. Another key moment of the Hindu ceremony. And I think we did cover this previously during the timeline, but again, Joota Chupai is something that is a symbol of when the groom looks to leave from the house, It's really a bribe that the bridal party is asking for from the groom. So before you take away our best friend, our bride, my sister, whoever it may be, they're normally going to look for some sort of bribe or money in order to get the groom's shoes back. So you'll notice a little bit of a tug and pull here between both sides of the family, and they're going to probably be fighting for the shoes. So definitely look out for this. The groom normally was going to offer money to the bride side of the family in exchange for the shoes back. So it's very light in mood. It's gonna be something that you'll notice is gonna be very dynamic in nature. Okay. So we covered family formals during the last one. The Vidaai is technically when the bride leaves her home. Now again, we'll be shooting the wedding ceremony in the mandap itself, but this is going to be probably one of the most emotional moments of the Hindu ceremony. This really symbolizes the bride's farewell to her family and to her home. She's formally leaving her home and leaving her family behind. So she's going to get very emotional during this time. So this is another key moment you'll want to make sure you capture as part of the Hindu ceremony. She's probably going to say goodbye to her parents, her sisters, her close relatives, her mamas, her aunts, her uncles. They'll probably then leave with a car that's set up outside of the venue. The Vidaai is one of the most important parts of a Hindu ceremony. It's a bittersweet farewell. Some brides are probably going to get very emotional, some may not, so you'll have to see how that pans out. But it's really a goodbye to the family and a formal kickstart of the couple and their life together. Okay. You'll notice in the document as well, we do also have a glossary towards the very end. This will give you a great quick reference list of all the terms. So that way, as you're going through and shooting a Hindu ceremony, you have an understanding of what all these different terms mean. If they get kicked around, you understand what the family's talking about, what the vendors may be talking about. So definitely go through this guide. It's a really great crash course on exactly what all these terms mean, or some sample photos on how you can shoot some of these things. So definitely take advantage of that. Go through the quick reference guide, familiarize yourself with all these different terms that may be thrown around during a Hindu wedding ceremony. Okay, so just to recap, we went through all the key moments of a Hindu wedding ceremony. We started off from the Baraat, through the Milni, through the Ganesh Puja, and all the key moments that happen between that and the end of which is called the Vidaai. This will allow you as a photographer to position yourself at the right time, at the right place, and ensure you're documenting these key moments. As you deliver the final wedding images to your clients, you want to make sure that these moments are all fully captured. So ensuring you have the right lens on, you're positioned in the right place, you have the right lighting set up. These are all going to be really critical to ensure that you're delivering on the expectation of your client. That's why this is important. So go back if you need to rewatch this to familiarize yourself with the key moments. Definitely utilize the resource guides we put together for you so that way you understand the terminology and the glossary of some of these terms, and use this as a moment to familiarize yourself with the cultural significance of each one of these and the sensitivities around why these are important for a Hindu wedding. Okay, good luck, and we'll see you at the next module.